Today's Kids Time is brought to you by... Okay, very good, guys. So our Bible lesson today tells an amazing story about a day when someone important walked and talked with some men on the road to Emmaus, but they didn't even recognize him. So in order to see what it might have been like for the men on the road, we blindfolded our friends here. And then we're going to have a special guest come up and say a phrase, and our kids are going to see if they can guess who that friend is. Okay, so first up, Mr. Dominic.
You are not going to believe it, but two men were walking and talking with someone they didn't even recognize.
Do you know who that is, Dom?
No, I don't know.
Stumped you? Stumped you, rather?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
John, you're next.
You are not going to believe it, but two men were walking and talking with someone they didn't even recognize.
I don't know.
No? All right, Luca?
No.
You are not going to believe it, but two men were walking and talking with someone they didn't even recognize.
I don't know.
Okay, Nico?
You are not going to believe it, but two men were walking and talking with someone they didn't even recognize.
Fine.
Do you know, buddy?
Jesus?
Jesus? Oh, well, close. Okay, let's give Matthew a turn. Go ahead. Special guest.
You are not going to believe it, but two men were walking
I can't
and
see
talking
it. I'm
with
getting my eyes so
they didn't even recognize.
Who do you think that is, Matthew?
Do you know whose voice this is?
Mom.
That's right, it's your
Very
mom. Good job, guys. Okay, so you could take your blindfolds off and let's have a sit. Have a little sit and chat. Go ahead. Yep. It's a 2. Okay, guys. So here's the thing. This was right after Easter when Jesus was crucified, and then people were saying that he was going to rise again, right? Remember, he was crucified and then he rose from the dead. And so women had already gone to the tomb and had seen that Jesus was no longer in the tomb, that his body was no longer there. But his disciples were so upset. And so 2 of his followers were walking kind of down the road, and then some man comes up to them. And this is what the man said. And let's see if you could figure out what man this is talking to these other 2 people. Okay, so he said, "Do you find it so difficult to believe that written by the prophets in the scripture, it was predicted that the Messiah would have to suffer all these things before entering his time of glory? Do any of you have any guesses who they were talking to on the road that day?"
Wait, I think that was Jesus.
That was Jesus. That's right, Gianni. So these 2 men were so kind of blinded by their grief that they didn't even recognize Jesus when he came to them. What do you guys think about that? So, yes, we're not done just yet though. So for some of you, it was really, really easy to guess who our special guest was. But for some of you, it was difficult. So these men on the road had just been through a really, really hard time. They knew Jesus had been crucified, so he would not have been their first guess if they were walking on the road. Nico, stop putting grass in your brother's hair. Jesus had to kind of open their eyes to see that it was him. And so this is a way to remember that even though you can't see Jesus, he's always what?
In your heart?
He's always there. That's right. Even though you can't see him, he's always there. Great job.